I knew that I'm going to become a witness in the House of Commons, which I believe is a political setting, so I was fully aware that politicians will be asking me questions about the legislation, so I don't necessarily agree with that point either. Unfortunately, while we are out there trying to make Mr. Goguen this absolutely insensitive human being, I would like to just point out that I have been asked way worse questions, and I have been re-victimized way worse by the media and by other MP leaders in the past. Thank you so much. I think if you just if you look at the clip as it is, as the way the media is playing it and replaying it over and over again, yes, there's a chance that there are other women that are offended. But what I'm trying to say is that this piece was taken out of a much larger piece, and I feel like that the media took it as a soundbite. And while I know I can see why he came across insensitive, but we are talking about a terrible topic. There's no way to sugarcoat this. There's no reason to sugarcoat this. I came out with my statement 40 minutes before this question, and I opened the floor to questions about my rape experience. I came forward with my rape experience, fully knowing that somebody will probably at some point will have a tough question.
Do you feel the MP made a valid point then?
I think his point was really valid, but I don't think it was delivered well.
Are there any further questions?
You to say and spell your name and to use the microphone because I kind of missed it off the top.
Sure. I'm Rob Hooper, R-O-B-E-R-T. Last name is Hooper, H-O-O-P-E-R. Chairperson, Board of Directors, Walk With Me Victim Services.
And do you have anything that you'd like to add after?
I certainly support all of the comments made by my two colleagues this afternoon. The only thing I would add is that, as I indicated earlier briefly, that Ms. Nagy and I had a conference call with the Member of Parliament, and he did offer up an apology. Of which interesting, not my place to say, but certainly Ms. Nagy's place to say, and she said, given the circumstances, I don't need an apology. Let's get on to the real issue. Let's get Bill C-36 passed and help young people and women and prostitutes of this country exit and be safer in this environment.
What did the MP apologize for?
He did not apologize because Ms. Nagy said it was not necessary. He offered up that he was sincere that if his questioning was not insensitive, but was offensive to Walk With Me Canada and or more particularly and specifically Ms. Nagy herself personally, given her sharing of her personal history, that he certainly did not mean that. And that's when she interjected, and she's given you her version of why there was no official apology.
Are there any further questions?
Do you feel the same way? Do you feel that it wasn't
I do share the same opinion as Walk With Me Canada, that the question itself, the intent wasn't meant to be offensive, and that it was taken out of context and is actually now, in my opinion, is being used to distract what this whole conversation before the Justice Committee is actually intended for, to actually discuss Bill C-36. And so you have an MP that is now being asked by media and other parliamentarians to call for his resignation, which is completely ludicrous, and sharing the same opinions as Timea, that when you watch the video and how it was, it's been cut and replayed, that the whole point is taken completely out of context. And I do share the same opinion as Timea, that this was not a social worker speaking to a victim. and really actually being insensitive. This was a politician speaking to a witness, coming to the House of Commons, and as a witness, you are asked very tough questions when you are on the stand. And Timea was fully aware of that and came to the House that day to speak, to address some of those harder questions. And it came out a bit wrong, and he is the MP has clarified that that was not his intent at all. So, and you can clearly see that from the footage as well.
Ms. Nagy, can you elaborate on the point the MP was making and why you think that is valid?
Oh boy. Given English is my second language, I understand why he made a valid point, but I can't really explain. He was asking if I feel like that my freedom of rights were taken away from me. If I was concerned about my freedom of rights taken away from me while I was being raped. And I said, absolutely not. So his point, he was just trying to make a point to the point that was made earlier. He was just trying to reflect how ridiculous that comment was that was made earlier from an opposition person.